Good morning, Year 7. Today we're going to do the end of term assessment. This is the last two lessons on Monday and Wednesday were sort of gathering information and ideas so you can do this. So please, could you get out your folders or files or books or your laptop, whatever you're working on, in order to do your writing. The date is end of term assessment, : to what extent is Prospero a cruel tyrant or fair ruler? So that's quite a long title. Please underline it. Please notice the punctuation. There are quotation marks around to what extent is Prospero a cruel tyrant or fair ruler. Could you then put the date, please? 3rd of July 2020. Again, underline it. So the work you're going to do today, we're going to do two sets of work basically. We're going to spend the first 15 minutes preparing and organising our ideas and making notes. And then the second bit of work you're going to do, so perhaps on a clean bit of paper, will be your actual assessment, and that is what you'll send to your teacher, either by taking a photograph of your book and uploading it, or by doing it online and sending it. And you can send it by email or show my homework. So I hope that's clear. The first 15 minutes of the lesson is getting our thoughts organised, and then the remainder part of the lesson is writing your assessment. Okay, the first thing we need to do is answer the question. So step 1, answering the question. So the question says, to what extent is Prospero a cruel tyrant or fair ruler? The phrase to what extent is asking us to decide how cruel or fair you think he is. He's a complex character, and he's got lots of different reasons for behaving as he does. And his behaviour, which can seem cruel sometimes and noble and generous at other times. So one of the things I want you to do is think about his reasons for behaving as he does. So for instance, he does shipwreck Alonso and Antonio, but then they stole his dukedom from him and cast him out to sea, hoping he would die. So you need to take into account the reasons behind his actions. We see him being very cruel to Caliban, calling him awful names. However, Caliban seriously betrayed his trust by trying to harm his daughter. So what you're doing is you're weighing up his justification for behaving as he does. And the other thing you need to think about is how he uses his power. Is he using it to help or harm? And once you've decided that will help you, really conclude whether you think how cruel he is or how fair he is. So using your ideas in the last two lessons, where would you put Prospero on the scale below of cruel to fair? So is he further towards the cruel tyrant end, or is further towards the fair ruler? So have a think and just think, whereabouts would he sit on that scale? Okay, now you need to organise your ideas. So you've done the difficult bit, so well done, you've answered the question. You know what you think. The next bit is to organise your ideas or points using evidence to persuade others to your point of view. This should take about 10 minutes. And you're going to use your notes from Monday and Wednesday's lesson, which has all your ideas and evidence. So the hard work's already been done, so it's just a question of getting everything organised. So each idea or point you want to make will end up as a paragraph. So go to the next slide to see how to organise your thoughts. Okay, you're now going to draw a table like the one opposite. Please note it's got 3 columns, one for your point, one for your evidence, and one for your explanation evaluation. The explanation evaluation one I've made broader than the other two because this is where most of your words will be, so that needs to be bigger to fit them. There are 5 rows. So one of the rows is about Aaron and Prospero, another about Caliban, another about his enemies, and then there's a final row if you've got any other ideas that you might want to add about how he treats the other characters, such as Miranda, Ferdinand, Gonzalo, or the drunken Trinculo and Stefano. So once you've copied that out, you, by the way, just need to put point, evidence, explanation. Don't write anything down in italics, that's just to guide you. So just put point, evidence, explanation, and then fill it in using your notes for your thoughts and evidence. Can I remind you, this is brief notes. You are not writing your essay here. So it's only going to take about 10 minutes. I want you to save your words for the assessment and the paragraphs you're going to write. So you might want to pause the video now in order to fill in your table. That'll take 10 minutes. Okay, now that you're organised, you're ready to write. So last thing you need to know. This should take you about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay? You will need a brief introduction, followed by your points, finished with a brief conclusion. I've given you some ideas for the introduction and conclusion in the box on the left. So you can have a look. Again, do you know what? You're going to start, when you write your assessment, please start a clean piece of paper or clean document. Again, put the title again, just so we know what you're writing. To what extent is Prospero a cruel tyrant or fair ruler? Then you'll need an introduction. I have given you a possible introduction here. You can say something, you can either copy this exactly or adapt it or do your own version. But this is an introduction. Prospero is the main character in Shakespeare's play The Tempest. Through his magical skills, he has total power and controls everything that happens on the island. He has arranged a storm to shipwreck his enemies on the island. I've kept that really short because I want to save your energy for discussing how he uses his power with Ariel, Caliban and his enemies. So the most of the essay is going to be your paragraphs. You need to do at least 3 paragraphs. Yeah, those 3, possibly another one. And then you conclude. This briefly wraps up your ideas and you answer the question of the title directly. So, for instance, you could start off, in conclusion, I feel the way that Prospero uses his power shows that he is a cruel, cruel tyrant who abuses his power because he enslaves Caliban. That's one possibility. In conclusion, I feel the way that Prospero uses his power shows that he's mostly a fair ruler. And then you can explain it here. He has total power over everyone, but he chooses to be generous and to rely on his noble instincts and principles. So instead of getting revenge, he forgives his enemies and they all return to Italy. So that's the sort of thing you can say in your conclusion, depending on what you think. So, and finally, to help you, there is a help sheet that's attached. It's got some useful words for Prospero, some useful words for linking your ideas in your assessment, and also I've given you an example of an essay, not an essay, of a paragraph. So good luck with that. Well done. You've now completed your end of term assessment. Please send it to your teacher and you can now relax and enjoy the weekend. And next week we're going to be doing different things which are hopefully involve less writing. So you might find them more enjoyable. Well done, everyone. Goodbye.